Hey everyone, Paul here. And this is like a post-recording but pre heads up, because I recorded this just before this madness all happened in the world. And you may think, well, being perfect and what I'm talking about doesn't apply right now. But actually, I think it might well be really pertinent, because we're all going to be doing different things. We've got opportunities. This is a place of opportunity as well. But to do the things that we haven't done before. And sometimes we haven't done them because we felt that we had to be perfect at them. So do have a listen and apply it maybe into the opportunities that are here for you. And these are opportunities for you to grow and affect other people, to help other people in this mad world time. It's time to step up, I think. Step up to the plate, as I know you can, and I know you will. And do the things that you may have thought, well, they're a little bit outside my comfort zone. But now, I think you will. Do have a listen. I hope this really helps.
It's got to be perfect. It's got to be perfect.
Here's your heads up to this perfect podcast. It's absolutely perfect. It always will be perfect, which is the biggest load of BS you've heard, because nothing can be perfect. And thinking things will be, and expecting things will be. Let's just go through that and find out, when we really know about perfecticity, if that's a word, and unperfecticity, if that's another word, how you can change your life and create the most richest life for you. If you're new to this podcast, it's all about personal development, obviously unplugged, making things simple, not too simple, but breaking down the complicated processes that people try to explain sometimes and just get overcomplicated for whatever reason. But let's deconstruct them into processes that you can use and create a life you want. I'm a hypnotist, I'm a trainer of NLP, I do all sorts of stuff, so you know you're in safe hands and you're going to create the life you want. So do continue listening, okay? Let's get on with the show.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hello to you. It's Paul here from Personal Development Unplugged, and I want to ask you a question. If you knew for sure that you would never hold yourself back from doing anything because you felt it would be perfect, would that be important to you? Think about it. Doing something without knowing the result. That's curiosity, isn't it? Just doing things that are important to you and knowing what happens, or not knowing what happens, but just knowing that you're going to do your best and nothing's going to stop you doing that. Another question. Have you ever given up on something, or even not started it? Or if you believed it wasn't going to be as good as you really wanted it to be, or it wasn't going to be perfect? I think we all have, haven't we? I know I have. And that's what I've been thinking about today. Thinking about this thing about having to be bloody perfect. Because we do have that in us. Some people a lot more than us, maybe, that need to be perfect all the time. And do you know what? They have a terrible life. I don't know if you have anything like that, but one little thing in the day just absolutely buggers up everything else. It's that one little negative thing, and every 100% of goodness evaporates. Now that to me is something that's, intellectually is stupid, isn't it? Good outweighs the bad, but it doesn't sometimes. In fact, some person I was listening to said, you have to get 4 bits of good to outweigh 1 piece of bad. Well, I don't know if that's true, but who cares? All I know is that if things are going to stop us doing things because We want them to be perfect. We need them to be perfect. And if they're not going to be, then we're not going to do it. That, to me, is something that we need to get over. And I think we need to change our thoughts, our beliefs, and really get into this, because think about it. If things were perfect in everything you do, and you knew things were going to be perfect in everything you do, God, how boring might that be? Because you'd know before you even started, there would be no challenges. There'd be nothing to look back at and say, do you know what? I've achieved something special. There'd be no personal bests, because everything would be perfect. You'd do something and you could never beat it again. So what would be the point of doing it again? And that's the whole point. That's the other side of the coin, isn't it? Things don't have to be perfect. In fact, think about it. Can anything really be perfect in this world? Can't, can it? Because there can always be a little bit better. Every personal best is a personal best at that moment in time. But guess what? Sometimes you won't quite get there, but other times you will beat your personal best. And that's a target we want, isn't it? To be just a little bit better. Because what does that show us? It shows us that we're growing, that we're learning something, that we're doing something differently. It gives us more confidence. It allows our self-esteem to grow to where it already is, but we're not showing it. We're not accessing it. So in some ways, we need those challenges, the challenges that make us grow. And that's why I believe you're here, listening to me prattle on about all this stuff, because hopefully some little gems just go into your subconscious mind and your conscious mind, but in your unconscious mind. And you may take it on uncritically in a way that you'll go, do you know what? I'm just going to do this and enjoy doing it. I'm curious what I'm going to be learning. Nothing can be a failure. Nothing can be perfect, because I'm going to just learn from this experience and see if I can do it better next time. And then when I do it next time, I'll enjoy it again, knowing that I don't expect it to be perfect. And I can have wonder now. I can look at things differently because I just want to explore things, because I'm curious. Now that would be a frame of mind to have, isn't it? And if you were so empowered that you just believed, I can do this, I will do this, it's going to be okay. I'm okay. And I'm going to learn. I wonder what I can learn. Think of this. Imagine having that attitude now. That attitude, knowing that things would never be perfect, but you're going to strive. Remember that lovely word I love to use, to strive to be better than I was before, to strive to use the learnings, the skills that I've got and develop them. If you had that frame of mind, how would you be? Maybe if you're not driving, you want to just imagine out there, see that you out there, improving every day, doing those things. What would you look like? Would you be inspired by that? Be inspired by that you over there? Bet you bloody would. Wouldn't you want to be with that person? Wouldn't you want to learn with that person? Wouldn't you want to be sharing things with that person and having that person share with you, because they'd be such an interesting person to be around? Look at the way that you over there moves, because they're confident they're going to do their best, knowing that their best can be beaten the next time, because they're going to grow. And because of that, notice how they look towards the future, knowing that there's always something more. There's always just a little bit more to enjoy, a little bit more to experience. And when you have that enjoyment, that experience, what does it make them inside? What emotions do they begin to use more of? What thoughts do they have? That curiosity, that imagination. What do they do intuitively now? How do they connect? I don't know, connect to other people maybe. Connect to that thing which now lives with them and grows with them. What would that be like? What could you learn from that, I wonder? What could your unconscious mind learn from that right now? What does that look like? What emotions does that look like? Imagine that feeling that you over there is having. Imagine it now. Maybe you could feel it a little bit now. And if you've got a pen or paper or something that you could just make a note on? Just write it down. Write down those emotions, those words, so you can remember them easily and effortlessly. And I wonder if you were to have that you over there come back into you right now. What are their thoughts? What are their dreams? What are they intuitively thinking? Thinking they can do? Thinking they would love to experience? Because they know that. They've got this belief. I can do this. I'm going to experience something wonderful. And it's going to be okay. Even if it's not perfect, which it never will be, it's going to be okay. What would that be like? What are they thinking? And then just come back to where we are now. You see, what would it be like to have that frame of mind? And guess what? By doing what you've just done, you've got that frame of mind. You've just got maybe some little barriers that stopping you at the moment because that belief that things have got to be perfect. And if they're not, we're going to stop. Think of it this way. Everyone you admire for doing something, did they start off that way? Of course they bloody didn't, did they? They started right at the beginning, just as you would if you were starting there. They just persevered. They carried on. They didn't worry whether things were perfect because they knew that it wasn't going to be perfect because they were learning. They'd never done it before. But when they did do it, they were going to learn to expand themselves, do a bit more, do a bit more. That's why we have things like beginners, middles, and experience. Because people grow, but always knowing that there's more. And that's the wonderful thing about this world. There's always more. So that thing about perfectionism and things like that, yeah, we can strive to be better. You can strive to be perfect if you want, as long as you know it's never going to happen. But the thing is, what is stopping you? Well, obviously, it's going to be things like maybe that fear of not being perfect, that fear of, not knowing what to do or saying, well, I'm just not good enough. And you see, when we do our trainings for NLP, the NLP practitioners, they're doing hypnosis, they're doing timeline therapy, they're doing all the things a practitioner of NLP does. But they have to practice the processes. And in that training room, they can fail. Supposedly, inverted brackets, fail. But the thing is, they're never going to get it perfect. And if they did get it perfect as they could, they probably won't learn very much. But it's learning how to fail safely. Knowing that it's not a failure, it's just a result. They're just really learning sometimes what not to do. And that's the best thing, is when you learn what not to do, you'll always find better ways to do it. Because knowing it'll never be perfect, never ever be perfect, because there's always something you can get a little better at. I've been doing therapy for over 20 years now, and I know with every client I want to get better with the next client. And that client will teach me something. And I'm going to be different for the next client. The next webinar I do, I will try to do it just that little bit better to use the skills I learned from everything up to that moment before. Think about it now. With what else is stopping you? Or maybe it's that thinking everything is going to go, it won't be good enough and I'll be seen to be imperfect. But think about it now. What is the worst that could happen? Just think about it. What's the worst that could happen? Well, most of the time, you're doing it on your own anyway. So no one's going to see the bloody thing. I did some sketches just before I started here. They're not very good. But I looked at them and thought, well, yeah, that's better than I thought I could do. And it's not as good as I'm going to get. And the person, I was looking at a YouTube video, they were awesome. But they also started back where I was, if not before. And they saw someone teach them. And they know they're not perfect because they'll be looking for somebody to help them get even better. So what's the worst that could happen? Nothing. I go to guitar practice. There are people there who are way better than me, and I play wrong chords. And what's the worst that could happen? Well, if they could get really stroppy at me, but they're not that type of people. I know that. They would go, well done for giving it a good go, Paul. In fact, they'd probably say, I've noticed you've been getting better. You're playing less bad chords. But anyway, what's the worst that could happen? And don't make it worse than it is. Just be, that meta view. Look down and say, well, what is the worst that could happen? Well, actually, it's going to be this and this. And if that is the worst, what can I do about it? Now, you could also say to yourself, what would I lose? What would I lose if I just went ahead and did the bloody thing? Well, one of the things you would lose is that fear. One of the things you'd lose is that anxiety. One of the things you could lose is those thoughts, those pictures you make in your mind that are worse than it ever would be, because you'll have done it and you'd have realized it wasn't that bad. You know, the old fight, flight and freeze and all that stuff, that's born out of saber-toothed tigers and looking for things like that. And we're not doing anything like that, are we? Then you could say to yourself, well, what would I gain? I know I'm going to lose my fear, going to lose my anxiety. What could I gain? Well, I'm going to gain experience. That's all it is. Experience. I'm going to gain learnings from that experience. Maybe I'll get some stories from this, stories that I can relate to my friends. Maybe I'm going to gain friendships. Maybe I'm going to gain just that confidence and competence. Maybe I'm going to gain that self-esteem, because they're all possible, aren't they? And they're all possible to get better and more of. So what would happen then if you learnt from that experience? Well, obviously you'd improve, wouldn't you? You'd set your own personal bests, whatever range you set it as. If in the gym you set a personal best of a weight or a time or a number. But maybe you'll set a personal best in just the quality that you do, or the quality of your learnings. So maybe just ask yourself, well, if I took all that on board, would I do it? I think you're probably nearer there than not now, because I think there's one more or a couple of more steps. One of the steps is just to notice, why is this important? That old intention again. And just notice why it's important to you. And it doesn't have to be important to anybody else. People could look at you and go, why the hell are you doing that? You're not doing that, doing this. You're not making money out of it. You're just wasting your time doing that stuff. But who cares what other people think? They are not you, and it's none of their business. And your business is none of your business to know what they're thinking either. It's why it's important to you. And it could be what you will learn, what you'll experience. Those stories, that friendship, that esteem, that confidence, that competence. Just being with yourself. Setting personal bests. And when you get like that, you just say, well, what belief would I have to really just go for it? Knowing that it won't be perfect. Because when I know it won't be perfect, how can I ever get upset? Maybe it's that belief I can do this. It's going to be okay. I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to have fun doing this. I'm going to get better each time. Whatever I think I am, I'm more. Have a think of what belief would support you. And then you might want to add this. And it was from a book I read a long time ago. Well, it's a swear word, but I won't say the swear word. But you'll know what it is when I say F it. Maybe that's the approach you take. You just add that to it. You can make your own word up if you want. But just, I've got this belief it's going to be okay. I'm going to learn. I'm going to improve. I'm going to enjoy myself. I've got all these wonderful benefits, and I know it's not going to be perfect because it can't be perfect, and I don't want it to be perfect because I'd lose all that curiosity and joy and fun. So F it. Let's get on and do it. And once you've done that with those wonderful positive beliefs, just sit back when you've done that thing that in the past you wouldn't have done because it had to be perfect and you were frightened that it wasn't. But now you've done it. Let's just review it and celebrate. Because when you celebrate something, because you've learned something, you can say, what did I learn? How did I apply myself? Oh, that was awesome. What could I do next time to get just that little bit better? What would I have to do? And just with a wonderful sense of gratitude, just see that again and then look to that future. A bit like we started with this. See that you over there doing it that little bit better. Maybe doing it a way lot better because that's where you're heading towards. Notice how you describe that again. What emotions you describe that you over there having. And then put them towards it. And notice when you do that, I believe your unconscious mind is going to say, well, we like this feeling. We're going to do more of it. And that's when you get this serendipity. That's where you get that little bit more luck. That's why things just tend to just happen. The coincidences, wonderful, positive coincidences. Coincidences, if I can say it properly, just happen. And you suddenly get people saying, wow, I didn't realize you could do that so well. And you look back and you go, actually, yeah. And if I look back at what I was doing a year ago, how much different it is now. Because you don't realize, because this new you is a new norm, not the old one, because you've improved so much, but because this norm has been evolving, you get to have more and more. And then if you just look at those feelings that you've been experiencing and say, well, then you go, what else can I do? I'm curious. What else could I learn? What else could I develop this into? Maybe what skills have I got here that would help my goals in other areas of my life? Maybe this could be a new career. Or maybe this is something I could teach. Or maybe this is something I could just share with somebody. Or just share it with yourself. It really doesn't matter, does it? Whatever you decide will be perfect, if there is such a thing. Because it's your best. And if you always have that awareness of just doing your best in every moment, every heartbeat, and I know that's difficult, but the more we strive for that, strive again, the better you will enjoy. The more you will enjoy, the more you will learn. And that's why I think this is really important. It's important that you'll never hold yourself back again, because you won't set those impossible targets of being bloody perfect, because you know it's not there. It'd just be your best, and you'll be doing it for a wonderful reason. I hope some of that made sense. It sort of made sense when I started thinking about this, and then I know I've gone off on tangents in my own mind, but I really think, just go out and do stuff and enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, fine. Least you know you've made a considered decision. I tried it, didn't like it, I parked it. But I also tried this that I wasn't aware of, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. And I'm going to do more. That's how we learn to do these wonderful things. That's how we get a life of colour, of richness, of passion. And this is, I think, how you find your passion. Another way anyway. You let it evolve inside you by knowing this passion will never be perfect, but it will lead you into a wonderful life. A rich life. A good life. A life where you can serve yourself and others. All that. I hope that has, as I say, made a bit more sense than I think it might have done. I know. We'll see. Let me know. Feedback at personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. That's the email address. Let me know what you thought. Let me know where we could take that to. I'd love to know the type of things that you've been doing that you thought you couldn't do, and now you are. And how that has changed different contexts of your life. Because I know you'll be doing this in one context, and I know, absolutely guarantee, that will impact on other areas of your life. Because, as we say here, you will never know how far the ripples of change will go in your life and in other people's. Now, I'm going to be talking in a minute, in that last little closing bit, about sharing. But I do think if you could just share this podcast to people, let's grow it. Let's get more people in this community of wanting to do better for ourselves and better for the family, your colleagues, the world. Let's change the whole world. Be that butterfly flapping the wings together, creating that storm of change. So just, when this stops, if you would, just share this to a friend. Just say, I thought you might like this. I did this twice with my son yesterday. I saw something, heard something. Look, have a look at this. Have a listen to this. I think it's right up your street. Thumbs up. Thanks, Dad. Awesome. And that's what they do with me. And that's what we do with other people. And it will grow. And the thing is, you will get a wonderful feeling. And they'll share it with you. Life is reciprocal. Even if you don't get it from that person, you'll find it's the law of reciprocation. Good karma. All that stuff. Anyway, do please have a listen after this. But hey, just go for it. And if you need that confidence to have a little bit more, then why not look at paulcloughonline.com and have a look at that Supreme Inner Confidence. It's a program that I know will change your world, change your life for the better, give you competence, confidence, and your self-esteem will go through the roof. Have a look at that too. All you have to do is It's paulcloughonline.com/confidence. Have a little look, a little video there and lots of writing. 30-day money back guarantee. So all you've got to lose is your anxiety and your fears. What have you got to gain? Absolutely everything. Anyway, until next time, enjoy every heartbeat and live with so much passion that you'll explode. Hey, speak to you next time. Bye-bye now. Just a quick note before you go. There's about 3 compliments you could pay me, and don't pay me. And they're this. The first, and they're all equal, is sharing this podcast into this integrated field of learning. Share it to everybody. If you could just pass on the word, pay it forward. That would be absolutely brilliant. Secondly, if there's anything that you need, anything you'd like me to talk about, any issues that you'd like a process for, send me an email, paul@paulclough.co.uk. Everything remains anonymous. And I'm going to do my very, very best to find out the things that you need. And thirdly, do have a little look at paulcloughonline.com. I know I bang on about this, but it's my little bit of trying to sponsoring this show. It has 2 wonderful, I believe they're wonderful programs. One is letting go of anxiety in your life. And the first 5 days of that are absolutely free. You might even let go of the anxiety on the 5th day. You never know. It can happen. It does happen. The second one is creating supreme inner confidence in yourself. Inner confidence, not overconfidence. There's a couple of paid for hypnosis tracks. There are a number, and they're designed in a special way. And then, of course, you've got all the free hypnosis. You just have to put /podcast at the end of that. So it's paulcloughonline.com/podcast. And there's all the free hypnosis that I've done on this podcast. That's where you find them. They're all together and they're all downloadable just for you. They're the 3 things. If there's anything else I've forgotten, please add it in. Okay. I'm going to look forward to speaking to you next time, hopefully with the input from yourself, so we can speak about the things that we both need and love and share. Bye-bye now.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.